Hello, and welcome to the second annual virtual Career Day event from the Renee Montgomery Foundation. Renee is a former point guard for the Atlanta Dream. She's a two-time WNBA champion, an All-Star and Sixth Woman of the Year award. Sixth Woman of the Year. She's currently a part owner and vice president of the WNBA Atlanta Dream, and she's a partner with Valor Ventures.
What's up, everybody? I want to welcome you into the second annual RMF Career Day. I'm Renee Montgomery. I'm a co-owner and vice president for the Atlanta Dream, also co-founder of RMF. But listen, I'm excited because this year we're focusing on sports and tech. That's like my whole life, okay? Like I was an athlete for 11 years playing in the WNBA. Now, things look a little different. I'm still a part of a team, but now I'm a co-owner and vice president of that team, Atlanta Dream, that I played for. So there's a lot of jobs. A lot of people look at athletes and they're like, oh yeah, you want to be an athlete when you grow up. But if you love sports and you want to stay around sports, there's so many jobs around sports and also the tech space. Tech is connecting us all right now. As we can see, there's social media, there's digital streaming, there's Netflix, there's Hulu, there's all these platforms. Amazon Prime is coming through. All of these things that involve tech. Somebody got to work there, right? So Thursday Night Football is now Prime Video. Somebody got to work there, and that's covering sports, and that's involved in sports. So there's so many different jobs in sports, whether it's statisticians, if you're good at math and science, STEM, there's sports and there's jobs in sports for that. But there's also jobs in tech. If you're not even into sports, there's tech jobs too. So what we hope to do is tell you all the things about that profession that you may or may not be interested in. You may not even know some of these jobs and what they do. So we want to be that avenue where we educate you and we let you know what your job might be like when you enter it. All right. So welcome into the second annual RMF Career Day. Later, y'all.
Okay. And that was Renee and welcoming you in. And so now what we're going to do is meet the team. So we have Renee Montgomery. She's the founder and president of Renee Montgomery Foundation. We have Paul Guarino, CFO of the Renee Montgomery Foundation. We have myself, Nicole Young, COO of the Renee Montgomery Foundation. Serena Grace is our lead strategist for the Renee Montgomery Entertainment. Berlia Montgomery, executive advisor, mother to Renee Montgomery, she is the executive advisor to Renee Montgomery Entertainment. And then we have Lori Allen, chairman of the board for the Renee Montgomery Foundation. And so now what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to turn it over to Berlia Montgomery. She is going to give us a warm welcome into the event.
Good afternoon. I'd like to welcome you to the second annual virtual Renee Montgomery Foundation Career Day. Now, I'm always excited for career days. I did a lot of those when I was working at a university in my past life. But let me just say this. I know that you can go on the internet and find all types of career information about whatever occupation that you like.
Good afternoon, everyone. Can everyone hear me? I hope so. Okay, so the first speaker I will be introducing today is Ivan Curtis. Ivan Curtis is in his 5th year as general manager and head coach for Nets Gaming Crew, where he is responsible for player evaluations, player management, and gameplay strategy. So with no further ado, I'd like to introduce to you OG King Curt.
My name is Ivan Curtis. I go by the name of OG King Curt. I am the general manager of Brooklyn Nets Gaming Crew, which is a Brooklyn Nets affiliate team of the NBA 2K League. Give you a kind of a little short detailed run of how I got into my respective space. I started playing video games when I was a young kid, and I kind of want to say I was in the booming generation of when video games first hit the market back in the 80s. I'm probably not as old as I look. I hope I'm not anyway, but got into playing video games early. Definitely was an athlete, played basketball, football throughout my childhood. Went off to the military, and that was an experience for me. But while I was in the military, I was amongst a lot of other people who enjoy playing video games as well.
Okay, so I have a question that was presented, and the question was, so for a potential gamer to be picked up, what would be the steps, or are there any steps that they need to follow in order to be seen or even approached to be a part of the gaming or community?
That is a great question, because how you get recognized and the position of putting yourself to get drafted into our league has changed over the years. In the first season, they had a combine format that you had to complete so many requirements in order to qualify for a tab that will put you into the combine within the game. But like I said, that's changed over the years. And now Twitter is the premier social media platform for anyone that's pursuing the NBA 2K League or just the 2K League pro-am scene in general. That's where a lot of things go down. Almost every competitive league now, because now back when we started our league, it was only a few leagues, but now it's an influx of leagues and they all have Twitter accounts. Everybody posts everything to Twitter.
Who is your favorite NBA team?
My favorite NBA team?
Yeah.
My favorite NBA team, of course. Now I'll give you a short story. I was a Knickerbocker my whole life.
Wow.
It wasn't until I was hired by Brooklyn, I became a Brooklyn Nets fan. And the only reason I was a New York Knicks fan, because I'm from Dayton, Ohio, is I like the Giants. That was my favorite football team because I was a big Lawrence Taylor fan back in the day. And so I wanted all my favorite teams to be from the same place because I was tired. I had friends that basically they would have the top teams in every league. They might be a Laker fan and a San Francisco 49, which was hot at the time, but they would just be favorite fans of whoever the teams was that was winning. And I wanted all my teams to be from the same place. So that's pretty much how I got that.
Okay, and I think I have one last question for you. What educational process, as far as like classes and coursework, should, if kids want to go into either your profession or even a more tech sports behind the scenes, what would you suggest as far as like coursework or classes that they should take?
You know, what's funny about that is that I typically wouldn't have been able to answer this question if I hadn't had these years of experience under my belt and getting in the way I did, because now, I got in through an extreme knowledge of 2K and the community and the players and how everything works. But now working within the system, not looking at it not only from the esports side of it, but from the business side of it, because a lot of marketing and advertisement goes into esports because ultimately that's where the dollars is at. But beyond being a gamer.
So now we're going to move on to our next wonderful guest speaker. And her name is Michele Roberts. And Michele Roberts, prior to her retirement in January 2022, Ms. Roberts had since 2014 served as the executive director of the National Basketball Players Association. And without further ado, we have Ms. Michele Roberts.
Thank you very much for having me. You mentioned I was the executive director of the National Basketball Players Association. I'm happy to report that I'm happily retired. I love the job, but retirement is really pretty cool. So I'm having a good time doing that. But let me tell you how it was I even got into this basketball space at all. Surprising to many people, I never, ever planned to be involved in sports. I have never played. I have no athletic ability. I've always loved basketball because I grew up in New York City and I lived in the projects. And if you live in the Bronx and the housing projects in New York City, you love basketball. You have no choice. That's what everybody does. And so I always loved the game, but it was never my plan to be engaged in the world of sports at all. What I wanted to do, and you now know that because you've heard my resume, what I always wanted to do was be a lawyer, and I wanted to be a trial lawyer. But I really wanted to be not simply a trial lawyer, but a public defender. Again, I grew up in the projects, meaning we were poor. And I felt very strongly about becoming a lawyer, a very good lawyer to represent poor people, because I could see the quality of representation that poor people were getting. So sports was not on my mind. I mean, I couldn't for many, many years even afford to attend an NBA game because you know what those ticket prices look like.
Okay, so we have a question, and one of our questions is, which did you prefer? Did you have more fun with the trial lawyer or as or in the NBPA?
You know, and I hope you guys believe this. Everything I did because I felt at that time a passion for it. And then when the passion began to dim, that's when I found myself looking over my shoulder. So I loved being a public defender, probably more than anything else, because I was young and I was, had all these other young lawyers, and we were like guardians of liberty. That was my favorite job. But it began to sort of wear on me a little bit because, you're representing people who are facing 40, 50, the rest of their lives in prison. It can be emotionally very taxing. And I was very fortunate. I won more cases than I probably should have, but it was very difficult. So going into civil as a sort of a balance was helpful. I love that. When I moved into bigger cases, I thoroughly enjoyed trying these huge class action cases, and it's absolute fun. And when I went to the NBPA, I loved it too. So I consider myself lucky that I never found myself doing anything I didn't feel very passionate about for very long. And I looked at my life and I could see like an 8 or 10 year chunks. I began to get an itch. So I can't, the answer to the question is, I can't say that one was more fun than the other. I've been blessed to be able to say they were all a blast. I had a great career, and even in my retirement, I'm trying to make sure that I'm doing some stuff that continues to motivate me.
Okay, so our next question is, when you went for the position in the NBPA, did your law experience, or is that the experience they were looking for that position?
I don't know. The answer is just about everybody who I'm told, I learned later, that competed for the position was a lawyer. I am passionately of the view that you don't have to be a lawyer to become the executive director of the NBPA. Sadly, there's never been a non-lawyer that was the executive director of the NBPA. I was and remain a fan of a former player becoming an executive director. Frankly, there aren't many former players that are interested. There's some that are. And I would like to think that in the short run, there will be. So, it was helpful to be a lawyer, though I had a legal staff. So I didn't need to be a lawyer to do it. I think for me, it was useful because you are negotiating the collective bargaining agreement. But I would take issue with anyone that suggests that you have to be a lawyer in order to be able to run a PA. In fact, the executive director of the Major League Baseball Players Association, a Black man, is a former player and is doing a great job.
Okay, next up we have Ray Austin, and Ray may look very familiar to you because he is a former professional football player for the Chicago Bears and the New York Jets. Go Jets. He's also an established actor with his current role on Fox's new hit show, The Big Leap, as Trey Sent. So with no further ado, we give you Ray Austin.
Hi. How are you guys? Can you guys hear me?
Yes, we can hear you. Yes,
Awesome.
Thank you.
I guess I'll just get right into it. First of all, I want to say thank you to Renee, Paul, and Serena. Those guys have been awesome since I've been able to meet those guys, and just having a really great time being a part of their family. So I'll get right into it. Ray Austin, the University of Tennessee graduate, played football out there in the late 90s with the big-headed quarterback Peyton Manning. And when they say Tennessee is back, this is what they were talking about back in the 90s. It was a long time, but still, we're back. So super proud to wear the orange and white. I went off and got drafted to the New York Jets, played there for 3 years, and then the Chicago Bears, and had a short, NFL career like most of us. And, thank God I was able to, last enough to have a pension, because that's kind of what you work for, to have a career, to have a pension. And but I didn't know what I was going to do afterwards. But I always had a passion for athletes, helping out athletes. I love to train. I love to, really connect with young athletes. And so I opened up a gym, a facility out in the Chicago area, a 40,000 square foot gym, trained over 2,500 athletes. 4 of those athletes went to in the NFL, which I was really proud of. and also had some partnerships with Nike back in those days. But as I grew here in Chicago, playing with the Bears, still kind of had a little bit of a name. I've always wanted to get into entertainment. So I ended up getting signed with the agency out here in Chicago, Stewart Talent and Elite Model Management. And I know a lot of you guys are looking at me like, man, this dude does not look like a model. And you're right. You're absolutely right. But there's different types of modeling. So there's runway, there's high fashion, commercial, and lifestyle. And I fall into that commercial lifestyle area. And I've done probably over 3 or 4 dozen national print ads. I am one of the only African-American models for a boot company in San Francisco called ATHLYT. It's a huge international company. And to give you an idea how big that is, I had been modeling for them for the last 7 years. And for the first 3 years, I was making so much money, the company called my agent. At the time, I was with Ford Models, and they called my agent and said, we can't pay him anymore. We would wonder if he would like to come on as an actual employee, and we would give him salary, benefits, and 401k. So as of my 18 years of career in modeling, 7 of those years, I've been able to establish a 401k with a company. And I've also done over 127 commercials, national commercials, done such shows as Chicago Fire, Chicago PD, Empire. If you guys ever watched Empire back in the day, I will tell you something funny. I am Jesse Smollett's granddaddy. So think about that. And I've been a Screen Actors Guild member for 18 years and really proud of that, having that second career after football. But now,
what other positions, non-player positions, do you have available within the organization, and what path should someone take to intern or apply?
Man, whoever asked that question, that is a great question. And that was actually one of my advices that I was going to give you guys is intern. And we are always looking for interns, content creators, for videographers, production, social media, marketing. If you go on our LinkedIn, and that's another second advice, you need to spend more time on LinkedIn than you do TikTok and IG. My LinkedIn is fire. You feel me? My LinkedIn is fire. You are not, as you grow out of certain things and you grow into other things. Your LinkedIn is your network. That is the place where you're going to get those internships and know that those types of jobs and opportunities are out there. Get on LinkedIn, connect with me, connect with Paul, connect with Serena. You are now putting together your network now. And all of us are now in your network. So you can see those things because there's opportunities all the time. I hire people all the time. I went all the way to Grambling State to hire my head strength coach. All of my referees were Black. I'm looking for people, and one of their daughters works for me because he said she was in marketing. So if IG and TikTok are not where that information is, go to LinkedIn, follow Fan Control, follow ATHLYT, because I'm also looking for young kids as well.
Okay, and the next question is, and this is just a pure question of fun. Who is your favorite football team at this moment, being in the middle of the season?
Does it do NFL or pro? I'll have to say for college, of course, it's University of Tennessee, or the orange and white. I know we just dropped the ball last week with Georgia, so I'm so disappointed. But probably University of Tennessee, and I loved playing for the Chicago Bears. There's a few different teams it's been basketball. Renee probably knows, like the Lakers. You play for the Lakers. Everybody wants to play for the Lakers, or a couple other teams. For NFL, playing for the Raiders, playing for the Bears, playing for the Packers. Those are teams that have been around the longest, and there's a lot of tradition still in those cities. And to be able to play in Chicago, once you're a Bear, you're always a Bear. And all the great sports that we have here, from the Bulls, the Blackhawks, the White Sox, it's just a very huge sports city. And to be able to wear that jacket here, it's a really great feeling.
Okay, we have a question from Rashana, and she's asking, what makes a successful brand ambassador, and how can one differentiate themselves from the others?
Man, wow, man, I got some good questions. Man. And I said this before, and I meant this. Renee if you notice people that are brand ambassadors, good in brand ambassadors, and not just faces, they understand the brand that they're selling. Like you could stop Renee in a heartbeat, wherever she is, and she could tell you exactly what fan control football was. And that's what you need to know. A lot of people say that they are brand ambassadors, and they really don't even, half the time don't even use the products. You have to wear the brand. If you know, I don't wear other people's clothes. Unless it has my names on them, I don't wear that clothes. I'm a walking billboard. And a brand ambassador becomes that brand. Like he walks it, he talks it. When you come into a room, they go, oh, that's old boy from Fan Control. They know who I am. Not because they know me, because my brand, I bleed that. So if you want to be a really good brand ambassador, understand the brand that you're working for, really, really grasp it and kind of make it your own, because that's what brands want. They don't want you to be their brand. They want you, we want you to be you in our brand. And once you learn it and get that, I'm telling you, man, the sky's the limit. And the last thing I'll say to that is have different skills, because nowadays you can't just be a one-off anymore, right? You have to have the other different skills. Take a broadcasting class. Take an improv class. Like when you're able to talk in front of people and be able for them to be able to go back and forth, but you'll be able to feel that conversation with some stuff that people go back. You know what? What people used to say in an audition. An audition is nothing but an interview. They would say you either stink, you smell like a fart, seriously, or you smell like cologne. And when you leave out of that place, who did they get? They go, I don't know about that person, or they go, that person smells so good, and you left something with them. Being a brand ambassador, you have to leave people saying, man, I want to be a part of that because of that person.
Final guest speaker is Mr. Paul Guarino, part of the Renee Montgomery Foundation family. Paul Guarino is from West Haven, Connecticut. Paul graduated from Sacred Heart University in 2014 with his bachelor's degree in sport management, and in 2015 with his master's degree in sports communication and media. And without further ado, I'm going to turn this over to Paul.
What's up, everybody? How's it going? Like Nicole said, Paul Guarino, founder of PG Sports. So I'll just give you like a little background on how I started everything. And like Ray was saying, just like building your brand. And even like, I like his saying that he said, you have your producer kit right there on your phone. So I started PG Sports back when I was 19. I was going into my sophomore year of college. I was on to be a sports agent. And so I just wanted to create something to have a foundation for after college. And I created a Twitter page, and I was just tweeting about sports, just like updates and things like that. And then from there, I wanted to promote it. So I was like, let me make some t-shirts. So I made some t-shirts, just to pass them out to my friends, and then just got that rolling pretty much to get people to follow it and things like that. I think Instagram came popular like my junior year, which sounds like crazy because like, that's like the main, that's probably the most popular one at this point. And then created that as well. And then from there, I was like, I didn't have a logo. It was just like a font. Like I literally created it in like Paint. It wasn't even like Photoshop or anything. And then from there, I was actually, I'm a fan of Marshawn Lynch, and I was looking up like beast mode shirts, and I found this guy that made his shirts at the time before he even had his brand, which he has now. So I reached out to that guy. I don't think he initially answered me because I don't think he thought I was serious about getting like a logo and stuff. And then he had a contest on his page. It was on his Facebook page to predict the final score of the Super Bowl, and this was like the Giants Patriots. I think it was the second one, and I predicted the score right. And then from there, I won the shirt, and then he reached back out to me, and I got him to create my logo, which is still the one I'm wearing on my hat.
Okay, and the next question is which of the sports platforms that you work with is the hardest to actually promote? For the PR, it's like which one's the easiest? I guess that goes by whoever is following. So which one is the one that you work the hardest to promote and get put out there as far as sports is concerned?
Like social media you're talking about?
Well, I'm just talking about in general, just, because, you work with MLB, you work with, are some easier to break into than
Oh,
others, as
sports
far as,
wise.
yeah, sports wise.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I'd say if you go down to, like for example, boxing, like I've obviously boxing been around forever, but I'd say it's UFC is more popular. Within like 1 or 2 years, like I had the top like one of the pound for pound best fighters wearing my stuff because one of my other fighters was wearing it, and I just sent him like extra stuff and he gave it to him. So finding like niche sports and things like that is easy. Going to rosters and checking out, even the bench players because they're still pro athletes and they're still, that 1% or whatever 0.0 whatever percentage it is to make a pro league. So even just finding, you just got to find your niche, your own niche, and then find people that need help and things like that.
Social media. Okay, so I have another question for Rashana. What trends are picking up in the industry? Like, how do you identify these trends? So,
Mhm.
yes.
TikTok is definitely that's been one for the past couple of years. Kind of just scoping out what other people are doing. Um, yeah, I mean, trending boxing. Obviously, I think everyone knows this influencer boxing. Like anyone's fighting anybody. Like one of my fighters is fighting on the Floyd Mayweather card tomorrow. And that's the Floyd Mayweather fight is actually an exhibition. And he's fighting a YouTuber, Deji. So it's like anything could happen now.
So, my next question is, as far as social media is concerned, do you actually make these videos when you are promoting for any of your sports? Do you promote them by doing their videos, or are you the one in charge of that, or do you have a graphics team and you pass it off to them, or does the actual person themselves do their own advertising as far as that's concerned?
Yeah, so I'd say I do both. I do have a small team of like freelancers that I use for everything pretty much. But I do obviously if it's if it's like super time sensitive and I know I can do it, then I'll just do it. So
Well, Paul, thank you, fam, for joining us today again. Again, this was our second annual Career Day event. Paul, thank you. And what we're going to do now is we're going to go over our scholarship opportunity that we have. Like we said before, you have an opportunity because you joined us with our event today to receive a scholarship, and we're going to make this fun. This is the fun part of it, because you get something from the speakers. Now we get to give something back to you. And for our Renee Montgomery Foundation scholarship opportunity, we have two scholarships that will be awarded. We have one for our Worth Institute participants, which is $1,500. And then we also have one that we have available for anyone from our high school participants to receive $1,500. And all scholarship entries must be received by Friday, December the 9th, 2022. Video submissions must not be longer, than 3 minutes, and no profanity, please. And award winners will be notified by Friday, December the 23rd, right before Christmas, and that'll be a Merry Christmas to whoever receives one from the Renee Montgomery Foundation. Looks like we don't have any questions, so we're actually going to go ahead and move on. So again, once you submit those, you'll be hearing from us on December 23rd. If for whatever reason we have a problem with your video, we're unable to see it, we will give you an opportunity to resubmit that video. And I'm going to give you my information right now just to send those videos to. It's going to be Nicole, NICOLE, at reneemontgomery.net. So again, that's Nicole, NICOLE, at reneemontgomery.net. Okay, and so what we're going to do now, we're going to actually close out our event for today. We're going to let you go a little bit early so you can enjoy the rest of your day. And thank you for joining us today. And remember, no matter where you're from, your dreams are valid. And the Renee Montgomery Foundation wants to let you know that we are here for support. Please reach out. We do thank you for anyone who did participate. We are going to actually have this video available for anyone in here that wants to actually play this for an organization. Once we get the video completed, we're going to throw it back up on our website. Please join the Renee Montgomery Foundation website, or go to our website, look and see what events we do have available. We want you to partake in any events that are available to you. We also have a monthly newsletter that we have. You can, by all means, we would love to have you on our list. Reach out if you would like to be added to our list. And if we have no other questions, Lori, would you like to close out, or did you have anything you wanted to say, Lori?
No, I just wanted to say thank you everyone for joining us today. It has been amazing. I guess I'll turn on my video for a second so you can see me. It has been an amazing afternoon. I hope that everyone will take in this information and use it, hopefully use it in a really good way. We had some amazing speakers, and this is good information. It was good information. So don't keep it to yourself, pass it on to all of those who are listening. We hope you take opportunity to partake in the scholarship. And it's real. I think we have this year's or last year's winner on the line. So it is a real thing. I think last year's scholarship winner was one of our participants today.
Yes, she is.
And so we want to say that it is a real opportunity. And there's no one that can not use $1,500. So put it towards your education, and mostly take in this information and use it to the best of your ability, because it was great information and some great speakers. So you enjoy the rest of your afternoon. Thank you so much for joining us. And we hope that you participate in next year's Career Day. We look forward to seeing you for sure.
Well, everyone, thank you and have a wonderful day.